a skateboarding game in VR where you control everything with your hands instead of your feet. It doesn't sound like it should work, and admittedly, when I first strapped in and got my first taste, I was not optimistic that I would be in this one for the long haul. A dozen hours later, 1,000 bails and 0 cuts, scrapes or broken bones, and I'm sold on it. It's not perfect by any means, and there's definitely room for improvement, but the game, as it is today, is definitely a worthwhile pickup, providing that you've got the patience. Unlike the more traditional Tony Hawk or skate games, VR Skater has you pulling off tricks by getting physical. Yeah, we all know Activision tried to do something similar with that awful plastic skateboard peripheral, but this is nothing like that. For one, it actually works, and it's really fun to play. Movement is achieved by swinging one arm back and forth in a skiing motion. Turning is done by holding down L2 and then gently moving the controller in the direction you want to go. That's the basics. The more advanced stuff comes with actually pulling off tricks, which requires you to use a combination of button presses and gestures with both arms. At first, it's daunting, even with the robust tutorials that walk you through every possible trick. Having to unlearn a lifetime of muscle memory is not easy, and I instinctively felt myself trying to press triangle to land a grind. After a good couple of hours of working through the tutorials and then hitting the first level, a neighbourhood reminiscent of Tony Hawk's Underground, I was still face planting after every other trick, but I was making progress and doing more than just moving forward and hopping every now and then. VR Skater is definitely a game that you'll have to invest the time into to get good at, but it's worth the investment. Between turning the air blue and almost launching my controller through the TV, put your straps on people, they're important. I slowly improved, stringing combos together for big points, hitting some sweet skating lines by connecting grinds, flips and grabs, all while waving my arms around and keeping my real life balance. Be warned though, if you've got a thing for heights like I do, there are a few genuine oh bloody hell moments where my belly did a flip and I did a flop back onto the couch. You've been warned. The game's various modes are limited to just a few. You've got a free skate where you can explore the levels and scout out some potential hotspots to pull off the big combos. Then you've got your actual challenge modes, with the best being the most Tony Hawkish mode where you need to hit a high score before the end of your run. However, these challenge modes are not timed, so you can really focus on what you're doing without the pressure of the ticking clock. Though there is still a fail state, bailing too much. You get a maximum of 6 bails per run. Once you come off your board too many times, the run ends and you're invited to start again or head back to the menus. I actually found this to be quite fair and a good alternative to a timer, though it wasn't completely without its issues, which are also connected to the controls. Unlike other skating games, VR Skater is fairly linear. The levels are decently sized, but you're not able to explore fully. You can't go forward 100 feet and then turn on the spot and head back the way you came. The game just doesn't allow for it. If you're stationary, you can shimmy your board left and right, but not all the way around. It's expected that you move forward through the levels and take whichever paths that you discover along the way. Fair enough and not a problem, mostly. The issue comes with bailing in a bad spot and then being respawned in an unwinnable position, meaning that no matter what you do, you're going to bail, and then fail. It took the smoothness out of my ride, so to say, but it wasn't enough to tarnish the overall experience. VR Skater launches with 9 well-detailed and designed maps, which is fairly impressive given it's a one-man development team behind the game, and there are more maps coming in the future. The current lineup is a good mix of wide open areas with big jumps, lots of grindables, and plenty of lines to seek out and master. There's also the more tighter, condensed areas where quick flips, grinds, and pinpoint riding accuracy are demanded for the best results. What I would say is missing though, and this is odd in a skating game, is the inclusion of an actual skate park. You've got a small ramp and rails during the tutorials, but there's nothing like an actual skating arena with kickers, halfpipes, and everything else. Granted, halfpipes may be difficult to work with given the nature of VR, but I'd love to see the developer give it a shot nonetheless. There's plenty in VR Skater to keep you coming back for hours on end, so long as you have the patience to practice and appreciate that mastering the complex controls ultimately leads to a VR experience that just doesn't exist elsewhere right now. With more maps on the way, online leaderboards going live next month, a punk-fueled soundtrack to ride to, and a dedicated developer who's already pulled off one gnarly trick with VR Skater on PSVR 2, this one is an easy recommendation. And that is the end of this review. Thank you very much for watching as always. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, go on down below, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and give the bell icon a nudge so that you're notified whenever we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.